Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio, so today we are looking at a deck, which I'm going to be honest, I was not taking seriously. I didn't think this was a good deck. I've ducked it for a little while. Several of you lovely people have got in touch and gone, hey Ross, what about Solgaleo-Rayquaza? And my response has generally been, I don't know. Is that really a good deck? And you know what? I played against it. I played with it. And I'm now starting to think that yes, maybe this is in fact a good deck. So, I suppose we should start off with the basics, and we should start off with Solgaleo-GX. Now, Solgaleo-GX has a monstrous 250 HP, a weakness to fire, which is a little bit of a pain with Turtonator, Volcanion, Ho-Oh, etc. running around. A retreat cost of 3, which is high but irrelevant, as you will see shortly, and a resistance to Psychic, which when combined with a 250 HP, basically says to Garbodor, come at me, bro. Come at me. Now, really here there is an awful lot to like about Solgaleo-GX. It's one of these Pokemon where it's all the attacks and abilities that we like. The ability Ultra Road is just a switch. It is a free switch during your turn, which is monstrously good. It means somebody cannot use a Guzma to stall your Pokemon in the active. It means that when you get a Pokemon knocked out, you can put whatever you want in the active, just because you know you can switch it later. It's super useful. You'll use it an awful lot. Now, being an ability does make it vulnerable to Garbodor, but then again, you need to play Field Blower, and that's the way we have it at the moment. That's the format we're in. Garbodor is everywhere. Garbodor turns off abilities with a tool attached, so if you're reliant on abilities, you've got to be playing Field Blower so that you can get rid of those tools, so you can get your abilities back. The attack here, the main one, Sunsteel Strike, does 230 for free energy, which is phenomenal, but does discard all energy attached to this Pokemon. So we're going to need to find a way to get that energy on. And then Soul Burst GX for a single metal energy allows you to search for up to 5 energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. And the key point here is that it's energy cards, it's not energy. That means that you can grab special energy like double colorless energy, for instance, like the upcoming counter energy, which provides 2 of any kind of energy when attached to a non-EX, non-GX Pokemon when you're behind on prizes. Otherwise, it's just 1 colorless energy. And that's really, really good here. It means you can set yourself up for the mid to late game. It means you could, in theory, play any Pokemon you like and just play a couple of energy. You could play a Turtonator and free fire energy to grab them out with Soul Burst GX. I'm not recommending that you do, but I'm saying that the option is available. And that really just sets you up absolutely beautifully. This is a phenomenal Pokemon. The ability being a switch is great. 230, and the number on 230, of course, is amazing, because it means that you add a choice band on there, you're hitting 260. Even the really big boys like Solgaleo himself and like Metagross cannot survive a hit of 260. So with a choice band here, you're basically one-hit KOing anything, which is ludicrously good. But the problem is you need to discard all the energy attached to Solgaleo. That is not good. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where Rayquaza from Guardians Rising comes in. 120 HP is fine, but you've got the attack Turbo Storm for a double colorless energy. That means 1 energy attachment on a basic, which means if you're going second, you can do this on your first turn. Can't attack going first. 30 damage. Attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. And language-wise, do remember that that means you've got to attach both of the energy to the same benched Pokemon. This means that you can start building up your Solgaleo using Rayquaza, so that in theory you've got 2 or 3 Solgaleo ready to go. And against most decks, if you can attack 3 times with Solgaleo, you're going to KO 3 GXs and win the game. And remember that switching between those Solgaleo is not going to be an issue in any way, shape or form, because you've got the Ultra Road ability. It's a switch. It's really helpful. Now, as a side note, the second attack, 80 for free energy, better than Charizard, on a basic. It's also kind of cool, because if you've got a choice band on Rayquaza, then you hit 60 with Turbo Storm, you then hit 110 with Dragon Claw, that adds up to 170, which is enough to KO a Tapu Lele. We're mainly using him here to accelerate energy onto your Solgaleo using Turbo Storm, but I am just saying that it is at least a possibility to do some decent damage with Rayquaza. Most of the time, however, you're going to be wanting to just use Turbo Storm over and over again, because generally here, your win condition is making sure that you just get all the energy on a Solgaleo, and that really is the basis of the deck. Turbo Storm to get a whole bunch of damage on the field, then you Ultra Road into a Solgaleo-GX and just sit there saying Sunsteel Strike until you win the game. Although you also really want a turn 2 Solgaleo, you want a turn 2 Soul Burst here. If you think Solgaleo is going to get KO'd, just pop all the energy onto your bench. And the great thing you can do here is put 2 energy on one Solgaleo, or pre-evolution, 2 energy on a second Solgaleo, and then 1 energy on a third. So then you've got 2 that are only 1 energy away from attacking, and 1 that's 2 energy away. So if you can do this properly, you might not even need to use many Turbo Storms to get rolling here. It sounds like fun. And that is very much the deck, but there are a couple of things to bear in mind. We have got Solgaleo from Guardians Rising that just does a flat 170 for free energy, and then cannot use that attack the following turn. Counter energy was made for Pokemon like this. This is your classic counter energy Pokemon. You attach 1 energy, and then you go counter energy, and you're hitting 170. And it does say that you can't use Fangs of the Sun during your next turn, but all you need to do is Ultra Road into something else, retreat, and then you can use it again. You don't really want to be playing too many Float Stones here because you've got the Ultra Road ability, but maybe playing something like a single Tapu Koko or something else with free retreat, so that you can Ultra Road into Tapu Koko, free retreat, and then Fangs of the Sun multiple turns in a row. I mean, Shining Arrow's no slouch here. 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, 1 counter energy, and do remember, I've said it before, but I'll say it again, counter energy is only when you're behind on prizes, and it's only non-EX, non-GX Pokemon, which is why we're looking at this one and not Solgaleo-GX. 50 for essentially 1 energy, somewhere on the bench, it's fine, but it's nothing to fall in love with, especially given the fact that if you're using Solgaleo-GX, you should be getting 1-hit KOs anyway. In terms of other Pokemon to use here, there isn't really much else. I suppose you could make an argument here for Drampa. Drampa uses colourless energy. You're going to be playing double colourless for Rayquaza. So, I don't know, you're playing double colourless energy. It doesn't matter what other energy you use. And then 150 for free energy. 180 with a choice band, as long as you've got a damaged Pokemon on the bench. And a lot of the time, a lot of decks are not going to be able to one-hit KO Solgaleo-GX. So when they don't one-hit KO it, you then Ultra Road, switching into a Drampa, and then the damaged Solgaleo will mean you can Berserk for 180. You could put literally any Pokemon you like into this deck, because you can get the energy out with Soul Burst GX, and you can reattach any basic energy using Turbo Storm, and then you can run whatever you like. But my opinion on this deck is very simple. You want to be consistent. So you really just want to be going Rayquaza and Solgaleo. You might as well put in one of the non-GX just for funsies. Remember, they've got different names, so you could have 4 Solgaleo and 4 Solgaleo-GX in your deck. And maybe a Drampa as an extra attacker. It's a basic, so if you really can't get your evolutions rolling, it's an option. In terms of other cards you really need to be relying on, how about Max Potion? I've already said that Solgaleo-GX is very unlikely to be one-hit KO'd. I've already told you that you've got to discard all the energy attached to Solgaleo in order to attack. So why not just use Max Potion here to completely heal yourself? Heavy Ball is really nice here because, of course, Solgaleo has a retreat cost of 3. Now, Rayquaza doesn't, unfortunately, which is a little bit upsetting, but both the Solgaleo do, And this brings me to my next card I like, Skylar. Skylar means you can search for a rare candy to get your evolutions going, but if you're playing Heavy Ball, you can Skylar for a Heavy Ball for a Solgaleo, rather than Skylaring for an Ultra Ball and having to discard 2 cards from your hand. You could play Altar of the Sun here to take away your weakness and give yourself a fighting chance against these fire decks like Volcanion, Ho-Oh, Turtonator, etc. But the biggest problem here is that your opponent decides if it's in play when they attack. They can replace the stadium, they can play a Field Blower, and then you don't get the stadium there, so your weakness comes back. It's a bit of an issue. And actually, as we're here, Field Blower is really important for you. You need the ability here, so you need a couple of Field Blower to take down Garbodor. Bridget's huge, as in any deck like this, because you can Tapu Lele Wonder Tag for a Bridget, and then get your basics out nice and early. And yes, I haven't said it explicitly, so let's say it explicitly. You need probably 2 or 3 Tapu Lele at least here. And the last card I adore in this deck, and I do adore the card in this deck, is Hala. Hala is a draw supporter, a shuffle draw supporter, where you shuffle your hand into your deck and you draw 4 cards. Not good, that's half a judge. But if you've used your GX attack during this game, you draw 7 cards instead, which is wonderful, because this is a deck, more than almost any other, where you are going to be using an early GX attack. It's gonna happen. This isn't like Metagross GX's Algorithm GX, where some people like using it in the early game to set up, some people like using it in the late game to win when you're less likely to be end. Oh no, ladies and gentlemen. Soul Burst GX is use it as early as you possibly can, and when you've used it, Hala becomes an amazing shuffle draw supporter, so this really does want to be a focus of your draw engine. Although in the early game it's still kind of rubbish because it doesn't help you get that candy Solgaleo. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. A deck which I did not take seriously, and you know what? I think we need to take a step back and start taking it a lot more seriously, because this deck is looking very good indeed. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to know your thoughts about it. Let me know in the comment section. And if you're that person who played it against me on my stream to convince me to make a video about it, please let me know in the comments. I cannot remember for the life of me who that was, but I'd love to give you props, so let me know in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. That's where the live action happens. And if you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and we uploaded a new bonus podcast yesterday, then check me out at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.